What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Stocks with Mike and Tom show. There was so much selling pressure in the market today, but not for DWAC. So it was a wild day in the market, but we had DWAC stock explode 22% higher today. In this video, we have some big news related to DWAC, and we have a lot of other important news just across the board. We have big news with Microsoft and Activision, big news with Blink and GM, some big news with Goldman, and even some other earnings reports for this week. So make sure you guys stick around to the end. We have a great video. But with that being said, Tom, let's get right into it.
Yeah, Mike, like you said, DWAC was the main highlight of today, rising up 21.77%. This was a huge move, and we honestly broke out above this $80 resistance. Ever since we broke $80 today, it actually acted as a pretty good intraday support, and then we ended up bouncing off of that pretty well. Honestly, it was just a really good day. Overall, we touched $90 on this stock. If we look at the 1-year daily chart, we can start to see that DWAC is getting pretty explosive over the past 5 or 6 trading days. Pretty much ever since we've touched the $50 support down here, we've bounced right back up. We're all the way back up to around $90 here. And to be honest, I would not be surprised if this one continued, Mike. There's a lot of hype around this. I know DWAC is part of Trump's Truth social media platform. So we'll have to see how this one still ends up going. But as of right now, there's lots of hype, lots of momentum, and I would definitely look for it tomorrow to possibly break out above 90 and then maybe head up towards 100 even.
True that. I mean, it has that, I guess you can say, explosive potential, because if we look back throughout history, we can see the all-time high on this thing is 175. So it's definitely a runner. Plus, it has to do with Trump. So any big news related to his social media company, that can be huge for the stock. So definitely keep this one on your radar. As of right now, it's mainly a hype play because his platform didn't even release yet. It's set to release on February 21st, which is President's Day weekend. So definitely be on the lookout for that, but it's definitely running with hype right now. Just one thing to be careful of is that, Tom, if we're being honest, these options are a little bit overpriced.
Yeah, they really are. That implied volatility is 177%. It's still crazy, and it's honestly on the rise. As this stock is moving up, the implied volatility is also rising, kind of like it was the first couple of days this stock came onto the market. And with these options getting kind of crazy with the pricing, I'll definitely be careful with it, but I feel like it can still make for some quick in and out day trades. I just would not stay in them for any length of time at all, and just be really careful where you enter with this one. Obviously, it's going to be a super risky play. This implied volatility is going crazy, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if this one ends up above 200% pretty soon.
Yeah, like if you want to play this one to the upside, shares would be ideal. It's a runner, so definitely keep it on your watch list. But Tom, we have some huge news with Microsoft and Activision. Tell us more.
Yeah, Microsoft and Activision had a huge deal today. Microsoft is actually acquiring Activision here for around $95 per share in a $68.7 billion all-cash deal. This was huge for Activision, which has been getting killed over the past few months as their CEO had some sexual allegation lawsuits, and their company overall just took a huge hit with that. And then Call of Duty was a bit of a flop this year. So, we did see the company fall. But as we can see on this 5-minute chart, this stock exploded from $65 all the way up to highs of 93, Mike. This was an insane deal. And honestly, I think it was a really smart move by Microsoft to go ahead and acquire them while they were having these issues for the past few months.
True that. And I think it's going to be very beneficial for Activision holders and then also Microsoft shareholders, because one, Activision holders are getting a nice pop today as the stock itself is up over 25%. But for the Microsoft guys out there, I think this is a very strategic acquisition, as Microsoft is a powerhouse as it is, but they're really going to become very dominant in the gaming industry that's just growing so much year over year. So it's definitely a very exciting deal there. And then, Tom, we even have more important news with Blink and GM. Today was crazy. Tell us about this deal.
Yeah, a lot of stocks were in the red, but unfortunately, Activision and Blink had pretty good days. Blink ended up 6.2% as they have a pretty good deal going on with General Motors, where they're going to supply EV charging stations to all General Motors dealerships in the United States and Canada. So that's great to hear. Obviously, any of these types of deals are awesome. And the company added that they already shipped some of the chargers to some GM dealerships in the United States. I think it's great. General Motors has been doing pretty well over the past few months also. I know they dipped down today, but their stock has been recovering up pretty well. And, they're going to be unleashing a lot of these electric vehicles like their electric Silverado and different stuff like that. And they're going to need chargers for it. And it looks like Blink is going to be one of the bigger ones here. Looks like Blink is also kind of bouncing around this $22.50 support. So maybe this one will end up holding up well.
True that. And then I know we have a lot of earnings coming up, and we had Goldman report pretty recently, and their stock is just getting destroyed, if we're being honest. It's down 7%. So what is going on with Goldman?
Yeah, they just had some bad earnings. We can see their EPS actually came in way under the estimate. They had a 12.10 estimate. They came in at $10.81 there. Definitely not good. Their CEO says that he sees real wage inflation everywhere, according to CNBC, after they saw a 33% jump in pay expenses alone. So it's just crazy to hear all these banks reporting bad numbers. JP Morgan kicked it off last week. They had a huge move to the downside. Even though their EPS numbers were good, their guidance for the next year was pretty rough. So it's just bad to see these banks doing this. And like you said, Mike, we do have more earnings actually coming up here. Looks like Bank of America is going to be reporting tomorrow before open, along with Morgan Stanley. And then we also have Procter & Gamble tomorrow before open as well.
Very interesting. So feel free to screenshot if you guys want, so you guys can see the earnings for the rest of the week. But Tom, let's get right into these momentum plays for tomorrow. And with the first one, we have RUN to the downside.
Yeah, with RUN, go ahead and make them break right below this $29 level. That's going to be a nice even level to watch.
All right. And with the next one, we have Teladoc also to the downside.
Yeah, Teladoc, honestly, make them break below $74 even. I think that's going to be an interesting spot, especially given where that weird print was in pre-market.
Sounds great. And with the last one, we have poor Palantir also to the downside.
Yeah, poor old Palantir. They fell below $15. Go ahead and make them break below $14.90.
All right, so we are watching these three plays for potential day trades to the downside tomorrow, only if they break below the levels Tom listed. And with that being said, let's shout out our member of the day today, which is Shruti. So huge shout out, Shruti. Thanks for all of your great questions and activity in the Discord. Tom and I really appreciate it. So huge shout out to you. Let's get right into these questions from the previous video. With the first question, we have Tap saying, what's your predictions, guys, for DraftKings for this week? More to the downside, or will it start to pick up? So it's a multi-million-dollar question. It's been just taking an absolute beating over the past couple of months. It's been brutal. The downside is obviously the stock is just getting destroyed. But the upside is that obviously it's at a great level right now and is providing a great opportunity. And another thing is that it's not like the movement is just DraftKings. It's also Zoom, Square, Palantir, basically anything with growth. So basically any company that is related to the growth, I guess you could say growth, like industry, you can say, has been struggling, which it really does suck. The main thing is rising rates. It's just been hurting all of these companies as Tom has been cycling through all of the charts. So it really does hurt. Obviously, we're hoping for a huge upside move. One thing to keep in mind is we do have the Super Bowl right around the corner, which can provide a pretty nice catalyst for a pop. And we also have earnings in a couple weeks as well. But we're definitely hoping for a move soon. But, of course, no one knows the bottom.
Yeah, no one knows the bottom. It's starting to turn over quite a bit here on the chart. I mean, it might continue down for the next couple of days. It looks like that implied volatility is also on the rise. It's up to 93% now, as I'm sure these put premiums are starting to go up in value quite a bit. Honestly, it's going to be pretty good to keep selling some puts on if you're okay with doing that. But just keep in mind, it's on the downtrend. I feel like it will turn around, Mike, over the next couple of quarters as their revenue starts to pick up from some of these states that legalized.
No doubt. All right, and then we have Mary saying, I was hoping you guys could give me some thoughts on ASML and then, yeah, just earnings and trading this company. So, ASML, this is a powerhouse company. They have a lot to do with like semiconductors and things like that. Earnings are always 50-50. They have earnings tomorrow before open, so that will be big. But really, it's just a total coin flip in terms of earnings. I will say lately there has been increased selling pressure with the semiconductor stocks, you can say, but I really like ASML for the long term. They're a powerhouse, but for the short term, it's not the greatest in my opinion.
Yeah, I like a lot of these semiconductor companies for the longer term as well, Mike. And I feel like as they start to dip down over the next couple of weeks, we might start to see some pretty good discounts on these. Like, for example, ASML, if they get back down around 700 or even a little bit less, it might be a pretty good pickup down there. Same thing with AMD, NVIDIA, and the others. They're all kind of pulling back right now. And honestly, they might be pretty good pickups over the next couple of months.
True that. So, Tom, do you have any last minute plays for tomorrow?
Man, these oil plays, Mike, are starting to go crazy. We can see Exxon and Mobil popped up again on the daily chart. Same thing with Chevron, another move to the upside. It's just been so crazy to continue to see crude oil popping up like this. We can see crude oil futures are now up above $85 a barrel, heading up towards 86 now. I mean, it's been a crazy day, especially at the end here. We had a pretty big breakout. So I feel like that these oil plays are starting to really move, Mike. I feel like oil, gold, silver, all those markets did pretty well. I know SLV had a pretty nice pop today also. So I feel like these markets might be pretty fun to play, to say the least, over the next few months, especially if we start to see the overall market get choppy like we're seeing. I feel like these other ones might start to go up with inflation, and it might make for some better trading here.
Sounds good. Well, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Definitely check out that first link in the description and the comments down below to join our Discord. It is completely free, and you can network with a bunch of other traders in there. You can talk with Tom, myself, and a bunch of other people, and it's completely free. Again, it's that first link in the description and the comments down below. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching.